Hey everybody. So I just want to start off with a few things up front. First thing is if you notice, I am traveling at the moment. You can look at the background, which I've been doing a lot recently, and will be continuing to do more and more. And the second thing is that if you probably noticed, I haven't put out a video in a few days, and so it's been harder and harder for me to keep up the daily videos. I love making the daily videos, and then any chance that I can, I will continue to do so. But what I can promise moving forward is at least two videos per week. That's kind of the schedule that I want to keep up with and around within this. And then, kind of the secondary thing within that, beyond my shrinking time availability, has and is really been that my thoughts have formalized more and more around the Transformers architecture overall, what it means for the future overall, etc. And then, so to me, like, and with my kind of like formalization of those thoughts, I've been experimenting in my free time less and less overall with Transformers architectures. Like, if you look at a lot of my videos recently, they and like pretty much like 90% of them, they've all been all around these alternative architectures, and I'm 100% on board with that, and like, I've solidified my thoughts fully around it at this point, and I want to express this in a simplistic way via this particular video. And I think I can do that via these two headlines that we're going to look at here. And then the first one is that Meta's AI leaders discuss using Google, OpenAI models and apps, the information says. And I think this is very important, right? And I want to couple it with this, which is Microsoft's announcement that they've recently released two in-house models of their own. So kind of what you're seeing within this is that these two companies are going in the exact opposite direction around this, but they're both staking their claim around it, right? Meta's claim, or Meta's stake within this, is like, hey, we should probably spend less money developing these models internally overall, and less money developing this our like infrastructure moat. And then, whereas Microsoft is saying the exact opposite, right? Like, we should spend we need to spend some money developing our own infrastructure moat. And then within that, that's the bottom line of Transformers. And within all of this, that I think 99% of the world misses this, right? And then, so I'll focus it by looking at these two models here that Microsoft has released, their MAI voice one, but more specifically, their it's their foundation model that they released, this MAI foundation model. And then, so that MAI foundation model was trained on 15,000 GPUs, as opposed to standard models of this size trained on 100,000 GPUs. And I think that aspect of this is entirely what like 99.9% of people miss within this, right? Like, when I experiment with other architectures, I develop them, I test them, I show them on this channel, right? It's always small models. And then every once in a while, someone will be like, well, why don't you just scale it up? Oh, ho, ho. Like, why don't you just put 100,000 freaking GPUs into it and scale it up? Like, because I don't have $50 million to do that. Like, people don't understand that aspect of it, right? Like, we're not talking about like, oh, just put a couple of laptops onto it, dude. We're talking about put a freaking nuclear power plant onto it. And then, so that is the inherent barrier within this. There is no knowledge barrier within this at this point. There's a plethora of people at this point, tens of thousands of people around the world at this point, that understand this architecture well enough to dive into it, to build their own things out, etc. with it, but they're not, right? Not even Meta is. Meta is going all in on wrapper technology. Like, that's the moat is being solidified within this. Like, why does this all tick me off? It's because, like, this is the internet, and then people are going to let it happen the same exact way again, right? Currently, right now, AI is accessible. It's accessible to everyone. It's fully accessible. The only reason why it's not fully accessible to everyone is because the current architecture that is being built off of is literally not accessible to the average consumer, but the average consumer doesn't have enough knowledge around these things to realize that, to actually make that argument. So that argument just goes completely irrelevant under the rug, right? It's always like, well, why don't you just do it yourself, guy? Like, why don't you just go be Microsoft and put fucking 15,000 GPUs into it? Like, I don't know. Why don't you do that? Like, but so with within all of that, and within this overall kind of the bottom line within this is that is the moat, right? The moat is that all of these things are known. These are all on the table at this point. And then the only way that this continues forward is if people allow it to continue into box into happening, right? Like, people are going to just, it ticks me off because people are just going to continue throwing their money at Meta, Google, and OpenAI when all they're doing is feeding off of each other at this point, right? They're feeding their own infrastructure, building out the Internet 2.0 monopoly infrastructure right before your eyes, doing the exact same thing that they did 20 years ago. You're going to let them do it again. And then like, this is, that's just the way that it is, right? Like, I'm just calling it out. Like, I still face this all of the time. In every single business meeting, every single consultation that I ever have around this, like, why don't I just use OpenAI models or ChatGPT for everything? And it's like, because they don't, like, OpenAI doesn't use ChatGPT for everything. Like, Meta doesn't use Llama for everything. That's not how the technology works, and they're just flat out borrowing off of each other. And the only reason why Transformers continues to get pushed as an architecture is because these 4 or 5 players have convinced you that that's what it should be. And then all of the money is within that because these 4 or 5 players are literally the only ones that can scale it up. Because anytime that you want to scale it up, it's 15,000 GPUs at least. Let me just go in my basement and pull out those 15,000 GPUs. That's, I can't frame it any more simplistically than that, but there's a major disconnect, a flat out disconnect with knowledge around these things, right? Like, everyone wants to be an expert. And then so because everyone wants to be an expert, 90% of people don't realize this fact. And this is just the simple fact and the simple reality of it, that by playing the expert, all you're doing is making these 4 or 5 players more entrenched. All you're doing is making society, the world, worse for everyone as a whole for your short-sighted gain. And that's the world overall, though, right? That's just kind of how it is overall within this. And yeah, this is kind of cynical within this particular video and going into this subject, but there's not a non-cynical way for me to go about this, right? This is the exact same playbook that was done and has been done for 20 plus years, for 25 plus years. I see absolutely nothing within the status quo that says it's not going to happen again. I don't know, the blind leading the blind, right? It's just how it's going to shape up and shake out. And it's just as simple as that. The bottom line, most simplest argument that I can make at the end of this for you is that at this point, with all of the research that's out, everything that is known, if you have a project, you have a task, whether it's an agentic task, no matter what it is, I 1,000,000% guarantee you that there is a cheaper, faster, and better way to do that and to build that out that doesn't involve Transformers architectures, doesn't involve paying one of these 4 to 5 companies money. But there's talking about it and building out on that level, I would say that there's probably less than 2,000 people or so in the world that would actually be able to discuss that and build that out for you on that level. And then so because there's those 2,000 people as opposed to the 2 million that want to be experts within this, you're going to listen to the 2 million and the 2,000 get drowned out. It's just, kind of how it will go and will continue to go within this. And again, this is just the pattern of reality, right? I'm just there is absolutely nothing unique within this, or that has shown that this is a unique pattern within these things. This is a pattern of, again, the internet, of a lot of other things that could be called out and grouped into that overall, right? But this is just the progression of reality as it currently exists. So welcome to reality. If you don't like it, then don't continue. Like, learn more about what you're actually investing into when it comes to these things. Learn exactly why people like me say these things about transformers architecture overall, etc. Right? I mean, that's pretty simple overall to do. But so I don't expect that. And so if you like this type of content, please like and subscribe. Thanks very much.